my God. Hi, I'm Phil. Welcome to Pretty Good Cooking. Tonight on the show, we're making pickle soup. It's called Rassolnik. I'm sure that's not how you actually say it. So this is a traditional Russian soup. It's weird. It's described as weird, but the recipe has existed at least for 500 years. So you know there's some heritage there. But there's a Russian version, there's a Ukrainian version, which is mostly the same, and there's a Polish version too. It is basically some type of stewing meat, so it could be beef, it could be pork, or even chicken, and then you cook it down with pickles and various other vegetables. So I thought it would be fun to try it. Let's get rolling. I got my Whit Farm beef for stewing. You don't even gotta chop it up. Convenience. Now you're seeing me just blop the meat into the pot. Conventional thing to do would be to brown the meat before you stew it. Almost every recipe I saw did not reference that. It said put the beef in a pot and boil it. So that's what we're gonna do. We got our beef, a little over a pound, and then we're gonna add some barley. There's multiple kinds of barley. Pearled barley is barley that I think the hull has been removed so it cooks faster and is slightly less nutritionally valuable. As a result, there's less fiber. But it is kind of like, we'll call it nicer to eat. I'm gonna put in a bit of barley, 2 handfuls, and we're gonna get that boiling away while we do other things. We'll be back. I gotta fill the pot up. All right, there's our soup pot. Let me get that boiling, simmering away. Okay, so I'm gonna do most of this recipe like from memory-ish. And I saw a lot of different variants. So if you are familiar with this dish and you have a way that you think is the right way, you can let me know what you think the right way is. But we live in a pluralistic world where there's more than one right way. And today, the way I'm making it is the right way for me. So if you tell me that I'm wrong, I don't care. So with the pickles, you want to use kosher dill pickles. That's the flavor profile that we're using. And from what I could find, baby dill pickles are like the most common because they have the least seeds. I guess seeds could be texturally unpleasant in this context, but you are gonna like chop them up, so how much does it really matter? I don't know. So I went on a quest for pickles today and I found Don Herman and Sons Kosher Deli Garlic Holes. Cloudy Brine Assures fresh pack. So these are cloudy pickles, so let's give these pickles a try. All right, I like what I'm looking at. Oh man, that is a really good pickle. Holy shit, that's a good pickle. All right, well I'm really excited for these pickles. I'm just gonna keep eating them. We're gonna chop them up. We want about 1.5 cups of chopped up pickles. So I'm gonna just do what feels right. So I'm gonna chop these pickles. I'm gonna do my best to not eat all of them before they go in the soup, and then we'll show you what I think 1.5 cups looks like. These pickles so good, they got me thinking about picklebacks, which is pickle with whiskey. I'm just gonna have some whiskey. And a pickle. Okay, this is pretty weird, but we're gonna saute the pickles for like a minute, and then we're gonna throw them in a soup. Okay, totally 500 bajillion% optional step is skimming your soup. So as you bring it to a boil, you can take some of this stuff off the top. All this does is make your soup look more aesthetically pleasing. It really does not impact the flavor. Also, I'm scooping some barley, so I think I'm just gonna stop doing that. It's fine, no big deal. I'm gonna add a little oil, crank my heat up, and I'm gonna put my pickles in a bowl. This is probably closer to 2 cups worth of pickles. That's how you know it's my recipe. While the pan's heating up, I'm gonna cook other things, or chop other things rather. We need a carrot. And as best I can tell, these recipes are somewhat light on the carrot. It's like in there maybe for color. So we are gonna try to chop most of the veggies today to cook faster. I'm chopping them into rounds, which is not usually how I do carrots. That's fried pickles. Why? I don't know. Smells like fried pickles in a good way. Just gonna do that for like a minute. We can go ahead and pop our carrots in. Optional ingredient is celery. Some recipes have it, some don't. And here we're just gonna thin slice. I kind of am in the camp of like, just put as many vegetables in as you can, because we all need to eat more vegetables. That's 2 ribs. We're gonna pickles a ton, and I'm gonna go straight in. Alright, it's pickle soup. I'm gonna pop this celery into the pan, and then we're gonna chop an onion. A big old yellow onion. Kind of feel like this is one of those things where it's like, can you put too much onion in this? Probably not. So I think I'm gonna use a whole onion today. And I'm gonna saute it a little bit just to brown it up. I'm just gonna dice it up. I'm gonna do a relatively fine dice, which is hard to do with like the really big onions, because when you start getting close to your hand, it's like, well, am I just gonna chop my hand off, or what's the plan here? Usually the plan is not to chop your hand off. That really does look like a lot of onion, and I will acknowledge that it is a lot of onion. But I just feel like it'll be good. You can see some of the onion cuts are rustic style. That's how we do it here. So I'm gonna saute those down, get a little salt in these veggies, let some of the water draw out. And we're gonna work on potatoes. These potatoes are from the potato and leek soup that we made. Big ass potatoes. Slightly sprouted, but no problem. It's gonna make a lot of food, by the way. You can eat your pickle soup all winter long. I'm using 3 very large potatoes, and I would also say I saw a lot of comments that like yellow or gold or white potatoes are even better in this application, but you know, these standard issue Yukon will be just fine.
Thought these were russet.
What did I say?
Yukon?
Yeah, these are definitely not Yukon. These are Idaho russet. Yeah, thank you. Good catch. John knows his potatoes. Damn. Where's all this impurities coming from? All right, you can cut your soup potatoes how you want, but we're just gonna do slices today. Slices, how fun. Wow, wowee, pretty crazy. I do risk overcooking the potatoes before the rest of the things are done. That doesn't bother me. You know, like a soft potato in a stew kind of breaks down, kind of gets like a little potato thickness. It's not a problem. And why don't we just throw them in? Why not? I planted next year's garlic, and I had some cloves left over, and now we're gonna eat them. I'm gonna do kind of just a big rough chop. We'll pop that in here, the veg. And then you can either add some tomato paste, but I actually think it's like more authentico is use ketchup in these contexts. I don't know why, but it just is. Well, I mean, and it's like with borscht too. A lot of times it's just, you got some ketchup hanging around, just toss it in. I'm only using a little bit. In some recipes, but not too many of them, some cabbage is also added. And I do love cabbage, but I didn't see it in enough recipes to consider it like a core of this soup, so I'm gonna skip it today, even though it pains me as a cabbage enthusiast. All right, I like where the veg is at, so we're gonna go ahead and pop that in too. What a strange dish. All right, some bay leaves. Gonna be 2. Some recipes I saw had a little bit of paprika. I think we'll skip that today. I don't think it's necessary. It's also something that you could finish the stew in, or the soup, whatever you want to call it. But what I am gonna do is add some pickle brine. So we're gonna add the brine now. We may add it later too, but this is kind of like the pickles are the main flavor here. Let's do a big splash. So this is what we're working with so far. We've got barley, we've got beef. And I am going to not do anything else at this point, I think. All right, so we've got everything in there, except some pepper. We're gonna let this stew until the vegetables are cooked, and hopefully the beef is a bit tender. If you salt your soup, the chances of further skimming it are probably ruined, but I don't care. I'm not skimming it no more. Okay, we'll have an update in a bit. We're gonna let it go at least half an hour. Ideally, you'd let it go like maybe a couple hours. Let's check back in half an hour. Okay, it's been about a half an hour, and like I think I mentioned before, certainly this can cook much longer, and your beef will continue to get more tender. But for our purposes today, we're gonna call it here. And then you have a couple of options from here. So you can temper some sour cream into the soup, or you can just finish it with it. And I think that's what we'll do today. But we're also gonna add some fresh dill, quite a bit actually. We'll save some for garnishing. We're just gonna put this straight into the soup. Like so. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat down to low. This dill will be one of the stronger flavors in here, complementing the dill pickle. I'll give it just a quick taste for the broth. Ah, super good. It's funny how like the flavors meld together, and while there is a distinct pickle flavor, it's not like it just tastes like pickles. It really just kind of tastes like old world soup, I'd say. And maybe that would be different if we used a vinegar-based pickle, but I actually don't think it needs vinegar for it to be good. Other things to note, just pointed out with what we're working with here, so just fishing things out here. You can see our potatoes are fully cooked and are starting to crumble. You can see that our beef could be more tender, but it's not gonna bother anybody, I don't think. And of course our barley kind of is faded into there. but it's completely tender as well. So let's go ahead and plate up some of this. All right. Now this is almost always served with sour cream, but you don't have to do that if you don't want it. You're the boss. So let's try it real quick. It is hot, so it's hard to try it. But we'll try a little bit without sour cream. It's interesting to me how distinct it tastes with that pickle component, and that is the primary flavor. So like there's some of like the coriander, for example, that's in the seasoning of the pickles. All the like other ingredients are like super basic and familiar, but that pickle flavor really comes through, and I think it's quite nice. So let's dollop with sour cream. That is more fresh dill, and there is our Rassolnik, whatever this is called, our pickle soup today. Pretty excited for that. All right, let's try it with our sour cream incorporated. Oh, those pickles. That's a lot of pickles. Yeah, you know, like if you like the flavor of pickles, you will like this. It's like pickled potato chip soup. I dig it. So, that's our show today. Hope you enjoyed it. We're gonna chow down on pickle soup. We'll see you next time on pgc.net. Don't go to that website. It's not a real website. Bye-bye.